That Don't Sound Right is a podcast about talking the way we did before the internet, when you could not prove anyone right or wrong.
All the expertise was contained in the people involved with the conversation. I'm Peter.
I'm Cecil, and I hope you enjoy our conversations. And as you listen, if you find yourself silently saying, "That don't sound right," send us a comment. You're one of us. I had one listener come into my office and say, "Well, you left out potted meat," which I did. After the episode was over, I said,
"You did leave out." Someone else pointed out to me potted meat.
Potted meat, and
which they didn't agree that should be in the lunch arsenal. Welcome back to another episode of That Don't Sound Right, a podcast about talking. We're your co-hosts. I'm Peter Billman.
I'm Cecil Davis.
And we're just trying to have a conversation here in the Camel City studios. We're letting you in on our conversation. We hope you enjoy our conversation. I have a feeling that some of you might say, "That don't sound right," as we talk. Well, if you do, you got the point of the podcast.
That's right. And so we've had some new listeners join us recently, and so we're going to talk a little bit about what they sent us tonight. But welcome back from Memorial Day weekend. Hope you enjoyed the mailbag. And that is actually what we're going to do today. We're going to do a follow-up because we had such strong response to episode 87.
87.
Yep.
The Lunch Arsenal.
Lunch Arsenal.
Which, by the way, I put into practice this past Memorial Day. I was driving up to D.C. and back, and I had to have some food to eat along the way. I needed a meal, and so I went ahead and packed myself, you know what, beef jerky.
And pineapple. So, so this is where most of our response came from on this episode, and we'll dig into that. First, we've got an addition today to the Camel City studios. We have a barista today.
Oh, man, I am enjoying the coffee with frothed milk from our barista.
We got a new coffee maker, and Camille has learned how to use it.
Thank you. Expertly, I might add.
Hello.
Thank you for the coffee.
Thank you for the coffee and for the ice cold water. Oh, you also know how to make a very good glass of water.
The studio's really come up now that we've got a
well, we don't get this at the
barista.
annex, right? We don't get. We got to be here. At the annex,
we have a bourbon bar there.
Yeah, all you get is a little shot of bourbon. That's all you're going to get out of the annex over there.
So. Episode 87, Lunch Arsenal. And so probably some of you are wondering why we called it Lunch Arsenal. We were messing around with keywords to see if we can get more hits. And that particular week, the soccer team, Arsenal soccer team, was trending. So we used that word in the title to see if we could get more hits. So if that makes more sense. Plus it kind of fit.
Yeah, it had we had a whole pile of ideas to add to your arsenal of lunch ideas, right?
So people listen to that episode, and we've gotten strong reaction, I would say, from that episode, particularly
robust reaction,
particularly with your choices. Because I was really surprised. I mean,
what were you surprised about?
Because you have long distance trucked. You have driven a truck long distance.
That's right,
and you have frequented establishments all across the United States.
Correct.
Big truck stops, little truck shops, gas stations, and you eat pineapple and
dried pineapple,
and beef jerky.
Right.
And so this is where people really said, "What?" This is where we got a lot of response on.
It seems like my choice was too highfalutin.
It was.
In fact, listener number one sent an email. He says, "I know I'm listening to the right podcast when the more bougie of the two hosts lunches on beef jerky and dried pineapple," which I am assuming that I am the more bougie of the two hosts because I eat pineapple and beef jerky.
I also, Brian called and said, "Did Peter grow up rich?" So yes, you. So in response to this,
now in fairness, I have my own dehydrator.
Really? Of course you do.
And I make my own beef jerky.
Do you really?
I do.
You're not buying it?
Most of the time, I'm buying it. If I'm on the road, if you're at a gas station, yeah, I've got to buy it. But if I have a planned trip, like a backpacking trip or a long drive, I'll get a flank steak or a London broil. I'll slice it thin, marinate it for 12 hours, and then dehydrate it. So I have my own beef jerky.
You left that out. I'll give you extra points for that.
But this, part of this was the gas station, right?
Right.
And so that's just my natural tendency is to go for the beef jerky.
Beef jerky.
I'll tell you another reason why beef jerky and dried pineapple is more.
You're going to try to defend your position.
I am going because this is what we do. It's easier to eat with one hand on the steering wheel and one hand in the bag.
Gotcha.
Right? I can reach down there, grab a piece of pineapple. I can reach down there, grab a piece of beef jerky, eat. I'm still on my way. Now, anything in a can, I got to stop the truck.
So really what we described, or what I described, what was more of a tailgate meal where you're sitting on the tailgate of the truck and you're eating for a minute, but you're actually in
I don't stop. I'm keeping on.
So I had one listener come into my office and say, well, you left out potted meat, which I did. After the episode was over, I said,
you did leave out. Someone else pointed out to me potted meat.
Potted meat. And
which they didn't agree that should be in the lunch arsenal. But
really?
They didn't think it was any good. They didn't think it was any good.
And thick cut bologna, not from a package, but where you go into the back of a gas station and they've just got a big loaf of bologna back there and they'll cut you off a big big slice.
This is where you're making your lunch.
Yeah, making your own lunch.
Instead of ham, it's thick cut bologna.
Thick cut bologna.
All right, I can buy that.
So my dad used to talk about that.
Although I've never seen that, and you claim there's a gas station in our town.
Yes.
Which I can go do this.
Yes. Yeah, I can take you over there. It's for sale, by the way.
The gas station?
It is.
Are you thinking of a job change?
I have thought about buying the gas station. So my dad used to say that, when you buy bologna, like in the store, it's very thin cut. But he was used to the thicker cut that you get in more of a country store.
Yeah.
So,
well, speaking of which, so Scott did follow up on that, on some of your suggestions.
Oh, what did he do?
He said, Cecil obviously learned to pack lunches in the early 1950s. or the 1970s if you're from Eastern North Carolina, and never felt the need to alter his menu even as the sheets of the world broaden the options available.
That is true.
All right.
But one of our new listeners went even further and has sent you a care package.
Man, I remember you sent me the text and said he was sending it, and I have to admit, I got a little afraid.
So that care package has now arrived.
Here it is. Look at this thing.
Yeah.
And Dave wrote a really nice letter.
So as we'll do the unboxing here on the air, and then we'll read the letter. So he has sent to Peter what he thinks will help complete his education.
And you know what? He used a word in there, alimentary education, which means
that pertains to nourishment.
Yeah, I've never seen that word before. Yeah. So that's another alimentary, ALIMENTARY. Yeah. You would have thought the bougie of the two hosts would have known that word, but he didn't.
So what you got in your care package?
Oh my gracious, look at this. So here we go. So first we got sardines. We got a can in mustard sauce and a can in Louisiana hot sauce.
And I forgot about the mustard sauce.
Which I will point out that my brother-in-law texted me after the episode and said that he eats sardines and mustard on a sandwich 2 to 3 times a week.
I had another listener say that was a regular
sandwich thing for them.
Yeah.
Really because he says because of the omega-3s. I can think of approximately 6 other places to get omega-3s. But
I think we should point out.
I'm not going to turn my nose up to this.
This is an old kind of price tag on here too. This is like the type of price tag that you would pull off of a sheet and stick on a product.
Right. Or it could have been the gun, right?
I don't know if that's a gun. I think that's so that's an old style price tag on that too.
Yeah, I wonder how old these sardines are. Let's look at the date.
Well, it is shelf stable.
Best by February 2035.
Oh, there you go.
No, it says it's 2025.
25.
Best by August 2024. So we're in good shape.
Yeah.
I feel safe. So those are the sardines. So he also sent this huge can of Chef Boyardee beef ravioli. And the point, according to his letter, was to show that you can cook this on your engine block.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
And
This is the manifold meals that we were talking about.
right, and he says 96% of the time you're going to leave this on the manifold until you get to where you're going.
Yeah.
So I have never tried. I've never actually heard of I've heard of the tinfoil suppers that you can put on the manifold. I've never actually heard of putting a can on the manifold. So we'll have to do that.
We'll do that in your car.
They can't do it in my car. My car.
Your new one's
My car barely gets hot anymore. Now we got, of course, a good selection of Vienna sausages, one with barbecue flavor, and then you can't go wrong with the original.
We also have a bird, evidently, in the Camel City studio.
Right? Did we leave the door open? Now these look really good. I don't think I've ever heard of these, but I think you mentioned them. Are you?
I've mentioned
did you mention this was back in the episode That Don't Taste Right?
Yep. Mrs. Freshley's Creamy Curl. That was an improvement to the honey bun because we said that a lot of products, when they try to change them, they go down.
Right.
And this one, I think they actually improved it. This was the honey bun that has the chocolate and cream curled into it.
Right, and then this one has cream, or no, this has jelly curled into it.
The jelly curl is also very, very good.
We will have to do a taste test. I'm getting very hungry here. It's about lunchtime at the Camel City Studios. Beanie Weenies, of course.
That's the old standby.
Yeah.
Surely you've eaten Beanie Weenies.
Not out of a can. I can't remember.
Not straight out of the can.
I don't think
cold.
I've done it straight out. Definitely not straight out of the can cold.
Yeah.
No, I haven't. I generally would put them on a camp stove and get them hot.
Yeah.
Or an exhaust manifold.
That one, that may be another exhaust manifold.
Yeah, another test run. Now, to go with the sardines, he provided a bottle of Texas Pete.
The only hot sauce.
Made here straight from Winston-Salem.
Correct.
And it does say that, you'll notice here. You should read that because you don't want to think it was made in Texas and try a lawsuit against our hometown. That was we talked about this in episode 56.
Yep. What was the name of that one?
What's that?
What was the title of that one?
That was called Texas Pete Russell's California. That's where these people from California were suing our hometown company because they thought it was false advertising. Got a package of what I call nabs. These are now I've had other people say that nabs can come in different. I think you said that other flavors, but to me this is the classic.
That's the classic nab.
The orange cracker with peanut butter in between.
Yep.
And then we didn't mention these, and you haven't seen these yet.
I haven't seen. Oh man, how did we forget
spicy
those?
Peanuts.
Yes. Thank you, David.
Yes.
You're exactly right.
And these are in kind of the tubular package where you can hold them in one hand. And I will say I have gotten these.
How did we forget about peanut?
I have gotten these. I also like the cashews.
Yeah. Well, again, that's going over to
I guess it's a little bougie
side, yeah.
Whatever.
The peanuts in a sleeve with the soft drink. I'd forgotten all about that.
Now,
especially the hot peanuts.
Did you dump the peanuts into your soft drink?
No.
Okay.
No.
I've seen people do that.
People do that, but I've never understood the purpose behind it.
I didn't, and I don't think you'd do the hot and spicy in your soft drink, would you?
I don't think so. But I do like hot and spicy peanuts with a soft drink.
So we're going to try some of these out?
Yeah, I think we should. I think we absolutely should. So the thing that generated a lot of conversation also for me was on the Vienna sausage is getting the first Vienna sausage out of the can.
Okay.
Because there's a trick to it. Uh-huh. And people have different techniques.
David sent me a little package of utensils. So
I know.
This is the way you do it, isn't it?
Well, so we actually, right after we had this episode, listen number 1, we immediately talked about trying to get that first Vienna sausage out of the can and how you do it. Because some people, I'm going to open these.
Yeah, here we go.
So some people talk about, so there you go, Peter, if you haven't had one before.
In all its glory.
Yep. So we're going.
I don't remember the colors being so
off.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's the correct color.
All right.
We're going to open up the hot sauce so we can do this right. So this is lesson number 1. So we were talking about, and the guy at work also talked about, do you destroy the one in the middle? So if you've never had a can of Vienna sausages, there are...
Go to the website and see, I got the picture.
Yes.
On the website, there's a picture, but go ahead, explain.
So there's 6 sausages in a circle, and there's one in the middle, 7. So the one in the middle is the key. The one in the middle is the key. You've got to be able to get that one out to get the other 6 out. And so the question always is, do you just destroy the one in the middle and get the other 6 out, or do you have some kind of technique so you can get the one in the middle out intact, which in my latter years I got to where I just destroyed the one in the middle. But we were talking about it this week, and there's actually ways to get that one out. So I used to stick a knife into the one in the middle.
Oh, wait, don't use that kind of knife, because you would use your pocket
I
knife.
would use my pocket knife, but I don't know what that thing's been into, man.
But that's what you do.
Yeah, well, that's what I did when I was young and free. I'm not sure I would use that pocket knife that Peter is holding in his hand to eat anything.
This one is a nice pocket knife. It's Buck USA. I mean, if we're going to do it real, you got to do it real, man.
I can't do that anymore.
All right.
I put using utensils.
Right. I'm sticking with my beef jerky. Don't worry about knife questions. But anyway.
So I'm going to go with what
a knife,
David brought.
But that would normally be a pocket knife that you're using.
Normally you would use a pocket knife.
Right.
That pocket knife that you have in your hand, it's done. I'm not sure that it has some toxicity to it.
All right.
So
you go straight in.
So for me, I would go straight in and pull that middle out.
It came right out.
Yeah, it came right out.
It came right out. There's no problem.
These actually seem to be packed a little looser than the old ones.
Is that right? Maybe they probably downsized them.
Yeah, maybe they downsized them, or maybe people complained about it. So, and then the next question was, is it 2 bites or 1 bite? And so for me,
it's 2 bites.
It's 2 bites.
I just witnessed 2 bites.
Because you get the hot sauce on the first bite, you bite it in half, and then your hot sauce on the second bite.
I see.
So, you going to try one?
I am going to try one.
Oh, there you go. Well, I've got the first one out of the middle for you. You set up.
Okay.
All right. So now Peter has the can in his possession. I have started the can by getting the first sausage out.
So I'm just going to do it the exact same way you did, knife down the middle.
Right.
Taking it out.
Now, I should notice that this
smells like spam.
Yeah.
Which
it's probably.
I love spam. Which I think some people would probably be surprised to hear.
I know.
Wait a minute. Isn't there supposed to be gel, like a gel?
Well, that's what I was going to say. They must have really changed, because these don't have jelly on the top of them. Used to it have a thick coating of jelly on the top. And when I say jelly, I mean like just plain gelatin that would preserve it. Mm-hmm. Yep. So he's tasted the first one there.
They're not as salty as spam.
Yeah.
But the Texas Pete really does help them wash them down.
Oh, yeah. Texas Pete.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Congratulations. Maybe we'll go from beef jerky to Vienna sausage.
Again. Okay, yeah, so question. How much is a can of Vienna sausages?
Oh, is there a price tag on it?
Is there a price tag on them? I don't see a price tag.
I'm going to say it's probably less
But
than
I mean, I would agree. Beef jerky is pretty expensive when you buy it straight up from the gas station.
So we were talking, one of the guys that was talking to me about it at the office was like, if you wanted to eat for just $1,
Yeah.
now this was back, in the 70s, $1 would get you a long way with Vienna sausages. And he said you could actually even buy small packages of saltine crackers, like just 3 or 4 crackers in a pack.
Yeah. All right.
And that was one of the ways that they did it. So, man, I think we should crack into the sardines too.
All right, what flavor we should do? Mustard or? Let's do the mustard. Well,
you'll do mustard. Okay.
What do you normally like? If you normally eat them with the hot sauce, then we have this particular variety that already has the hot sauce in them. We just go straight to the hot sauce.
Yeah.
Or we could go with the mustard, which is what my brother-in-law he adds his own mustard. He gets them in the olive oil. So,
okay.
What do you think? Which ones of these have you had before?
Let's do I don't think I've ever had mustard sauce before, or if I have, it's been a long time. You want to try one, barista?
Sure.
All right. So.
So I'll open these bad boys up.
You want a Vienna sausage?
Sure.
Oh, I need a cracker for this.
Yeah, I've got some crackers right here. All right, so
they look worse than I thought.
So sardines are open. Sardines covered in mustard sauce, and so we are going to get ready to try one out on some crackers. David, thanks again, man. This is a feast, smorgasbord.
It's right around lunchtime during this particular recording, so this is good timing. So what do we do? Why don't you demonstrate for me?
So for me, again, you develop your own techniques for getting the first one out, right? And so I just usually try to flip a whole one out onto a cracker. And this is when we really need a YouTube channel, Peter, and so people can see what we're actually doing. But so I've got what essentially is a whole sardine on the cracker.
Yep.
Man, those are really good. I need to start eating those regularly. So Peter is fished out,
Got one?
so to speak.
It's on the cracker. Fished out.
Yeah,
All right.
the whole one. The barista says that she likes the Vienna sausages.
They're really good.
It is lunchtime. We could make a whole meal out of this.
We're good. I'm looking forward to dessert.
Oh, yeah. The creamy curl, you should keep to yourself and eat that. If you've not had one before, you're not going to want to share that. As much as I want to steal that out of the box, I think you should keep it yourself. I'll tell you what, why don't we finish up the episode with you reading Dave's letter?
Yes. So I just have to say the sardine,
Yeah.
a little mealy.
Yeah. Yeah, I will agree with that.
A little mealy, and now I have this aftertaste and smell of bait. I feel like I'm in the middle of my bait cooler when I'm surf fishing.
It is a bait fish.
All right, this is the letter from Dave. Find enclosed for your culinary education a sampling of some of the finer gas station fare. The ravioli is included as a demonstrator for engine block cooking. My personal experience says that you will still have the car on. You'll still have the can on the engine when you get there, about 96% of the time. The jelly swirl and creamy curl honey buns are a callback to the That Don't Taste Right episode in which Cecil Caboosel pointed out that the creamy curl was an exception to not messing up with classics. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I apologize for the absence of saltine crackers. I'm embarrassed. My goal was to get everything from one store. They let me down. In addition to the Vienna sausages, I included a can of barbecue Viennas. There's also a hot sauce version that I rarely see anymore. No matter, this box also contains the hot sauce. There are many varieties of Lance crackers, but I only sent the standard. This collection is by no means an exhaustive representation of the sustenance that is available and acceptable. It is just a small care package to aid in your alimentary education.
Alimentary. Thank you for teaching us another word.
Dave.
Yeah. So I've had lunch today.
I'm going to move this can.
Oh, move it over here.
Yeah, why don't you move that over there?
So we've almost finished off the Vienna sausage.
I still don't think I would add the. No, I'll eat a bit of Vienna sausage. Let's do that.
So the.
I don't think I'll add the. I don't think I'll add the sardines to my menu.
So guy at work said if you're a true Vienna sausage eater, you would drink the juice after you finish the sausage.
Well, if it's a jelly.
Yeah, I wouldn't do the jelly. I don't think I would even drink that, but some people would.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
Well, it don't sound right, but you have come to the end of another. That don't sound right.
Hey, we want to thank everyone for listening. If this is your first time, and I hope you enjoyed the conversation, but if this is your first time, would you consider hitting the subscribe button on the podcast that you listen to? It's a little check mark on Apple Podcasts. Also, consider giving us a rating or leave us a review. Also, if you go to our website, there's a link to our merchandise. Also useful for Father's Day's gifts because it's just around the corner.
That's true. So That Don't Sound Right is a production of TDSR Podcast in conjunction with Camel City Studios. I am your host or co-host and your sound engineer, Cecil. Your other co-host is Peter, and he does all of our web design. Today we have our barista in-house, and that is Camille. Emily is our graphic designer. Giorgio is our merchandise tester, and we've actually had some people send in pictures sporting our merchandise recently on the IG site. Britt is our brand ambassador, and as always, listener number one is Scott. So until next week, keep talking.
And stay curious.